Indeed, there's no human being who can go for 14 months without getting any salary, without being able to feed his or her family. Therefore, our members, including the union at large, we are delighted that at the end of the day, we're able to resolve this impasse.
And when it comes to the agreement that has been signed, Mike, we've seen that it will cover the financial years from 2022 right up to 2025. Exactly in detail, what does that mean for workers?
In actual fact, you would know that in actual fact, 2022 salary increase was supposed to be effected from the 1st of March in 2022. But because of this dispute, such couldn't happen. And therefore, when we get into a settlement agreement, is that the 2022 4.5% or 450, whichever works out the greater, will be paid and be backdated, as well as 450 and 4.25% for 2023 will also be backdated as is a norm. And the rest, the 2024, 2023, 2024, because it will be implemented exactly on the same date, will not be backdated because there will not be any lull period before the effective date. And 2024, 2025 as well will be the same. So it means that for the next 3 years, our members will not have to struggle and fight before they can get their annual increases.
And one would ask, why did it take so long for the two parties, to find each other? I mean, this is a strike that has taken 14 months, and it's only now where it seems as if, there is some sort of light at the end of the tunnel, if I may say so. When it comes to the strike, where was the stumbling block between the employer and you as the unions?
Our suspicion, which is others might argue that our suspicion and assumption is wrong, is that if you recall that Massmart as a company was 100% owned by South Africans, and sometimes in 2011 they sold a stake to an American company, which is Walmart, and in November last year, we were told that Walmart has acquired 100%. Our suspicion is that one way or the other, Walmart, because of them believing in a free trade union environment, might have been having some sort of breaking the backbone of the union by breaking this settlement, by making sure that members become disillusioned and go back to work without any settlement. However, through the insistence and the resistance of our members, it became clear that they couldn't win the fight and they couldn't continue with the business alone without their employees. And also through the engagement with various bodies, including our federation, COSATU, having to involve the NOBs of COSATU, having to involve together with us and be able to pin down that it's high time that both parties go back to the table through the auspices of CCMA under Section 150. That is exactly why we're able to break the impasse and end up getting into a 3-year agreement.
And, we saw that some workers were even let go of by Makro because of the strike. What does this mean now for those workers who were subsequently fired? Will they be reinstated by Makro?
Remember, initially, the stumbling block we could have reached, this is settlement long time ago. The stumbling block and the gray area was when we were demanding the unconditional reinstatement of those workers because we believed that they were given a raw deal. They were charged with a breach of picketing rules. But if you look at the LRA and the procedure to deal with breach of picketing rules. There is something that is called Code of Good Practice during the strike that will guide the parties how to deal with some breach of picketing rules. But however, the company decided that they would not go that route. That is why we felt and we still feel that they were unfairly dismissed, and that is why we demanded their reinstatement. We are delighted that in signing and entering into this agreement, at least the company was no longer hard and fast. They are prepared, they are open for engagement, and we have agreed on the process of dealing with those who are dismissed, the process which would kickstart, and that process must be finalized by the 31st of July. We are confident that as both parties realize that a lot has been wasted and a lot damage has been done, both parties agree that there's a need to reconsider all our stance position. And we are delighted that the company now has changed and said that, yes, let the parties deal and see how we resolve the 600 that are dismissed. And the other thing that you might not be aware, as we were engaging, there were also letters of suspension issued to about approximately another 600, but those will not necessarily go through disciplinary hearing because we entered into what is normally called cessation of hostilities. Therefore, both parties must be abided by that clause of cessation of hostility. And the other thing that we are excited about is that the company has realized that there's a need for parties to go back, sit down, and look at rebuilding the relationship through the exercise that is called RBO, Relation by Objectives, to rebuild the relationship, because without any sounding relationship, the business will not prosper and the company will find it very difficult to operate if there are still issues of relationship.
All right.
And again, because one of the issues that they were hampering on was that in their other subsidiary companies they have offered 4.25, and we said to them, look, the best way is that going forward in future, we must have a enterprise bargain, a centralized bargaining. And one of the issues that we'll be debating, engaging each other, is around centralized bargaining.